Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. She is the founder of Tickled Pinque. Please welcome Adrianna.
Hello.
Hello, Adrianna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yes, absolutely. You're most welcome. I definitely want to kick off by asking where you're originally from and tell us about your upbringing.
So, originally, I'm from, now cue the crickets. Are you ready for this? Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Wow.
So, yes, east coast of Canada. And yeah, so I was brought up there, born and
Mhm.
raised. Both of my parents were business owners, so just kind of been brought up in the business eye since then.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So, what were like your interests growing up prior to nails?
Prior to nails, it was music. So I always wanted
Mhm.
to be a singer, a voice actor. So,
Mhm.
I mean, something artistic. I always wanted to be
Mhm.
something artsy. And then my dad and I opened up a tanning salon when I was like 18 years old. And so I was kind of like,
Mhm.
okay, beauty might be more my thing, also artistic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So, what was like your school experience like? Did you go to college? What was the school experience like?
Yeah, so I actually went to university called Mount St. Vincent in Halifax.
Mhm.
I took public relations, so I was kind of more wanting to be like somewhere in the public eye.
Right.
Again, artistic. So I took that.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I did. I went to university.
All right, cool, cool. I definitely want to get into your brand because you have your brand called Tickled Pink. So tell us a story about how that came about.
So Tickled Pink came about. My husband and I opened a nail salon here in Fort Myers, Florida, Cape Coral, actually,
Mhm.
called Pink Nail Bar.
Okay.
And I always wanted to have my own brand because moving
Right.
here, I was always a gel tech at home, and
Mhm.
moving here, it was always about acrylic. So I'm like,
Right.
acrylic, what is
Mhm.
acrylic? Because we don't really do that in Canada. In Canada, it actually has kind of a bad name, which it's
Mm.
not. It's a beautiful product. So
Right.
here, I was like, oh my god, I have to teach myself how to do acrylic.
Mhm.
So in doing that, I tested out tons of different brands, and I found
Right.
myself loving one piece of multiple different brands, and then the rest I didn't like. So I decided I
Mm.
had to bring something that kind of encompassed every piece of
Right.
product that I loved
Mhm.
into one brand with beautiful packaging, so it looks
Mhm.
beautiful on the wall, but also just like for everyone to love. Not so much, just I didn't want to lean too much towards the pink because some people might not like pink. So I
Right.
wanted it to be just all inclusive. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
what has been the experience, in terms of you both owning a salon together?
Well, you know what? Honestly, at first we were with each other all the time, which of
Mhm.
course is going to test every relationship.
Right.
But he and I, we've always worked together since we got together. So even before, nails and everything like that, we actually did dabble in a little bit of music. So we were always together. So
Mhm.
it's hard that way. You're eating together, sleeping, living and working together. So
Right. Mhm.
now, with me running the cosmetics company and him running the salon, it is much nicer. So we each kind of do our same thing, but it still is together.
Mhm.
It's nice.
Yeah, in regards to like, like beauty school, what was your experience also with beauty school?
So in Canada, we our beauty schools are kind of different. So here I find that it kind of is just cosmetology. So you can take cosmetology or you can be like a nail tech, an esthetician.
Mhm.
Whereas
Right.
at home, it's very like individualized to the trade.
Mhm.
So at home, I took hair, which was hair design center. That was originally what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I took a nail technology program as well. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit different. And then when I moved here, I had to kind of get myself relicensed for the US. Um,
Okay.
so I'm kind of now a cosmetologist in whole. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit different, but I did love it. I loved it. The hair is what I thought I wanted to do. And then I got
Mhm.
into nails and that was over. So I'm like, oh no, no, I need to paint on people's hands.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Now, in terms of like, with you being, used to be in Canada and you're in Florida, correct?
I am. Yep.
So, in regards to like licensing, like what's like the hours between like, Canada and like, where you live in regards
Mhm.
to like hours you obtain to get a license?
Yes. So I believe Florida is the lowest requirement for
Mhm.
hours in the US.
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
quote me on that. I believe that is the case though. So
Mhm.
Canada was like 3 or 4 times more hours were required than here.
Mhm.
Um, So when I moved here, I basically just had to retake the exam. So I didn't have to go back to school, thank God.
Right.
But yeah, so I just had to retake the exam and kind of,
Mhm.
brush up my skills a little bit. And then yeah, I was licensed.
Yeah, because like in Maryland, I believe for a nail tech license like 250, I think.
Oh wow. Okay, that's how many hours. I think it's
I believe so.
roughly around there here too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I
Yep.
had to obtain 1,500 hours before I get, licensed and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think it was like, oh God, I don't even know now, but it was different for hairdressing and then nails. It was a whole
Mhm,
separate. So yes, it is. It's quite a lot more hours.
mhm. And the thing that's so interesting about, being a licensed cosmetologist, a lot of people think when you get a license, in terms of cosmetology, they think of hair. You
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
really think of nails all that much. You
right.
know what I mean? So I did cosmetology courses in my high school because my high school offered like career-based programs.
That is cool that they do that here.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. And the thing is, like, I took cosmetology courses like from my sophomore to my senior year, and I got my license before I went to art school. So the thing is, like I said, just with cosmetology, they don't think of like nails; it's mostly hair, majority.
And I feel like you're also taught more hair in cosmetology school.
Yeah.
I think you kind of
Mhm.
touch on nails, but it's not until you really get into the field that you really, building that education.
Mm. And and that's the thing because also too, the thing with before you get into beauty school, at least for me, before I got into, get into taking cosmetology course and afterwards I learned a lot of stuff on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the
Mhm.
thing is with like beauty school, especially like with state board, they don't teach to a depth, in regards to you getting prepared for the industry.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, I definitely want to get into within building your own brand, Tickle Pink. Was there any obstacles that you faced during, the time of building your brand?
Yes, many.
Mhm,
Oh God. So I guess the biggest obstacles I faced probably were the fact that I didn't know anything about owning a brand. I didn't
mhm,
have anyone to turn to and ask questions, and it's actually a very secretive industry. So there's a lot of trade secrets. So everyone that you kind of network with or that you get in touch with, they're very
mhm.
hesitant to tell you every little thing about the business. So it's a
Right.
lot of trial and error. So that was kind of
Mhm,
the biggest
absolutely.
obstacle for me, especially because we make and manufacture everything in house. So I had to
Mhm,
find the equipment, the tools, the machines. I bought the wrong machine, and they don't take them
mhm,
back. So it's not like a quick return. It's just kind of a wash. So that was the biggest obstacle for me. And it's a big financial hit too when you make those mistakes. So
mhm,
that was I think what the biggest obstacle was.
mhm, mhm. I
Mhm.
definitely want to get into in regards to like manufacturers. 'Cause I know you mentioned you do things in-house. So have you tried at one point to find a chemist for your
Yeah,
product?
so we do work with a chemist, so we do have our
Okay.
own chemist. But there are different ways that you can go about doing it. You can make and manufacture your own product, but you can also private label. So you can test another company's product and see if you like it for yourself, and then you can kind of brand it with your own brand. So it comes
Mhm,
packaged, it comes bottled, it comes beautiful.
mhm.
Whereas in our warehouse, we bottle everything. We fill everything. Everything has different caps for different things, and the labels are
Right.
different. So everything is
Absolutely.
done, which I don't think a lot of people know. So it's
Mhm,
very cool. It's definitely a different avenue, and it's really fun.
mhm.
You can
Now
catch
what goes in Now what goes into like, in terms of private label as far as manufacturing? What is that like?
in private labeling. So basically, it is a parent company that creates the
Mhm.
colors for you and bottles it all for you, and they are doing all basically what we do, but in a
Okay.
bigger company. And then they send it to the brand that wants to start their own brand, and
Okay.
you put your label on it, basically. So they'll print your
Mhm,
label on their product, and then
mhm.
they'll sell it to you, if that makes sense. So it's like just a different
Okay.
way of doing it. Whereas we're more in
Mhm,
control of our own supply. Like we can pick the colors that we want to use and do and create.
mhm.
So it's cool.
Mhm. I definitely want to push forward and talk about the mission that you issued on your About Us on your website because you mentioned our mission at Tickle Pink is to bring infamous, luxurious, pretty and pink experience to individuals and salons all over the world.
Mhm.
Tell us more about this mission and how important is it to really, you know, set your brand out, to the rest of the world, but also makes your brand stand out.
Right. I'm so sorry. My dog is going crazy behind me. But basically my mission was woman empowerment, and it was uplifting, and it was motivating, and it was positivity, because I feel like right now, especially in the world, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of things that are just very ugly. And I found that that's something I wanted to bring into not only my salon, but also into my brand. And I thought that it was really important to kind of, you know, empower other women into believing that they can do that too. And, you know, in your 20s and 30s, and, you know, they don't, it's a very male saturated industry. You know, when you really think about it, a lot of men own these nail companies. And I just thought it was kind of cool to have, you know, a woman CEO and, you know, owned and operated. So that's one thing that I really, really wanted to. I wanted to empower women and kind of and help them to realize that it is possible to do on your own. And it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to get into this one question because, you know, yesterday I tuned into your TikTok in regards to you doing scoops. So you always do scoops.
Yes.
So for people that don't know what those are, like what are scoops? Like what goes into scoops that you guys do?
It's such a crazy concept, but it was actually brought to us by a viewer about a year ago. So she was on our live. We used to do packing lives. And a viewer brought to my attention, she said, you should do scoops. And I was like, what? Scoops? I thought of like ice cream. I'm like, what is a scoop?
Right.
Right? I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So she linked me one of the crystal companies that we used to, they would scoop a handful of crystals out and like different, you know, I'm not really into crystals, but it was just so fascinating. You know, they were like, you got this, you got an amethyst, you got this. And I'm just like, oh, I want crystals. I don't know anything about them. But then I kept scrolling and I saw another creator, and she was scooping beauty products. She had like lip gloss and eyeshadow and everything. And I was like, oh, I need to get into this. Like I want to buy 15 scoops. So that night I ordered 1,000 jars, and I contacted my my manager at my warehouse, and I was like, hi, do you want to help me fill jars tomorrow? And she's like, oh, fine. Like she's just whatever you want. So we filled 1,000 units. We put in scrunchies and stickers and a bunch of things. And we had absolutely zero expectation because we had like 11 people in our room at one time when we were packing. So I had zero expectation. I just sat there with the bin in front of me and I was like, all right, we're going to do nail scoops, everyone. And we sold out within 45 minutes. The entire bin was gone. It was insane. The most orders we had ever had. My girl came out with a stack of papers this thick, and I was just like, oh my God, this is going to change the course of our entire company. So we started doing it twice a week. Well, first it was once a week, and then it was twice a week. So basically we take our product and we put it in the bin. And then I was noticing that, you know, we have over 300 colors in our catalog.
Wow.
Which is amazing. But when you're doing scoops twice a week, you know, you run out of colors.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, well, everybody's going to have everything. So we started releasing between 60 and 80 brand new colors every single week. So every Scoops Live has brand new colors. So we're kind of like the Fashion Nova of nail products. So it's really cool. It's a really cool way to build your collection. You know, we have some customers that have over 1,000 different colors. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I definitely want to get into the financial aspect of nail entrepreneurship. So what will be some critical financial tips you would give for someone who wants to start their own nail brand?
Financial tips, I would say start small. So there are a lot of companies that will require you to have like a minimum order quantity. So they'll say, okay, if you want this jar, you have to buy 100,000 of them. And so that's not practical for somebody that's just starting out. So my advice is to, you know, choose 3-4 different products that you want to release. And start small. So don't get into a situation where you have 1,000 pounds of something and it's not good, you know? So do a lot of testing, get in a lot of samples, make sure you are doing your due diligence when making sure that that's a product that you want to put your name on and stand behind.
Absolutely. Now, I definitely want to move forward and talk about the social media aspect of branding. So in regards to branding with social media, like what are some tips you could provide in terms of branding on social media, but also how important is community?
Very, extremely important. So it's so important. You see a lot of companies that, you know, you just see the product and you don't see who's behind the product. So
Right.
you really, really want to show them, who's creating these products, who is
Right.
the face of the products, connect
Hmm.
with your customers and your viewers because like they're your friends.
Yeah.
And it's really important to build that foundation because people, I feel, more so want to see the behind the scenes and see like what is the foundation of this company more so than just the product itself. So it's very
Hmm.
important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, you and many other nail brands went to Premier Orlando this past June,
Mhm.
and I want to go ahead and ask, like, what was that experience like going to Premier Orlando? But also, too, like, what are 3 reasons as to why new nail artists, up and coming nail artists, or anybody should go to Premier Orlando?
So for the exhibitor in particular, it is an incredible networking opportunity. So you're able to
Mhm.
be in front of different companies and people that are manufacturers, chemists. Like that's where you meet everyone. And you can mingle with other people that are like-minded.
Right.
So really, really great networking opportunity for the exhibitor. For the attendee, it's also an incredible opportunity because it is just you're surrounded by so many different companies and you can test things and try things, and there's a lot of education at these
Mhm.
exhibits and these different things. You can go to classes and you can just learn to upgrade your own trade, so an incredible opportunity for either or.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as far as the nail industry, what is your take in regards to nail education? Especially how it's grown.
Oh, so nail education, I feel that the advanced nail education is very, very important. I
Mhm.
think that as a nail artist, that there should never be a day, or nail artist or any kind of service, but
Mhm.
nail artists in particular, there shouldn't be a day that you're not learning something. So you should
Right.
always be advancing. Everything is changing every single day. There's a new trend. There's a new technique. You should always
Mhm.
be learning. So advanced is definitely very important. But in saying that,
Mhm.
we touched on it earlier, the going to school and being a beginner, it's where I feel is lacking. So you're not really getting that hands-on experience and making those mistakes in school. You're more so
Right.
doing it in the field. So I feel
Yeah.
there should be some sort of like a mentoring situation between the beginning and you actually taking customers. That's where I feel it needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, like how you said, it's like beyond the mannequin. Cause
Right.
like when I did cosmetology courses, like there again, like, they didn't
Right.
teach you everything there's no for the beauty industry. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And in regards to like doing the practical stuff, it was on a mannequin, it wasn't on a real person.
And their hair grows perfectly and like yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, right, exactly. So I think that, I definitely agree. I think the more you work on real people, the more, you have that confidence. And we work with, real people, when I took ontology courses,
Yeah,
but just in terms of just in class, like, it was always on a mannequin for the most part. You know what I
exactly.
mean? But definitely real people, I think that's better to help build confidence and you understand different, especially being a nail artist, different nail beds and how to take care of
Absolutely.
everybody's nails and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Now, what's your take in regards to technology? Because I know there's like nail printers, AI is getting more prominent.
Right?
What's your take on technology?
I mean, I'm in. Like I'm cool to try anything. Like that is just so fascinating to me. We did dabble in the printer, a little bit when we first opened our salon. It was really big.
Mhm.
But it was just it just wasn't perfect yet.
Right, right.
So I mean, once that gets to be a thing, like I am all for trying new things. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
in.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to get into in terms of your nail artistry because you're absolutely talented as well in terms
Thank
of your nail
you.
art.
Thank
So,
you.
like, in what ways has your nail artistry evolved over the years?
So incredibly. So it's like I said, always different. You're getting, brand new ways of painting. I was always into character art. But then you
Right.
have all of these incredible artists like Dev and like Maddox and, Tino and all of these incredible
Mhm.
nail techs that are just boosting that bar. They're putting the
Right,
bar up. And just different ways of doing things. So it's just,
right.
I've been practicing and I've been doing a lot of that because that is where my interest is. And I
Mhm.
found that it's grown tremendously. So practicing every day is huge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some like your favorite products, from your brand, but also what are some like your favorite products to do for nail artists in general?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I created a brand that was every single thing that is my favorite. So I can't speak for anybody else, but my favorite things are the clearest clear, but they're all my children. So it's hard, but the
Right,
clearest
right, yeah.
powder, the gel polish, I'm obsessed. And
Hmm.
our cuticle oil, I would say, is pretty amazing. As far as art products go, Nails by Dev, amazing. She's incredible. Her talent. Maddox, like I said, Kirsty
Love
Meakin.
it.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, Kirsty Meakin,
My
yeah.
Kirsty Meakin, yeah. So she's incredible. Selena Ryden.
Selena Ryden.
Amazing, amazing people. Incredibly talented. But yeah, actually my first inspiration, and I've mentioned her name a lot to people down here, and not many people know who it is, but her name was Robin Moses. And
Yeah,
she
Robin
was
Moses. Yeah, I
Robin
heard of her.
Moses, right? So
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
the first ever inspiration, and she was just like amazing. I don't know if she really does it as much anymore, but yeah, so
Mhm.
she was kind of my first mentor, I would say.
Yeah, that's cool because, like, not a lot of people heard of Robin Moses because I used to look
Yeah,
at her videos all the time.
yeah.
And
Back
like,
in the day, that was the
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah. You know what I mean? And I seen
Mhm.
her video where she did a like it was like a hand painted portrait of Gary Busey. That was the funniest video.
Yes, she was the first one to ever do that stuff. It was so cool, and she used acrylic paint, so she wasn't even using like gel polish or anything like they do now,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is so cool to me.
Yeah, and that's so interesting because, like, I was one of those people when I first started getting into nail art, I was using acrylic paint.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, a lot of people were using acrylic paint. That was like the
Mhm.
it medium, like
Yep, that's how
20
you did
years
it.
ago. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
how you did it. And
Yep,
so now, like, everybody's using gel products and things like that,
yep.
so
It's
what a
crazy.
long way.
It's such a long way, and it'll just continue to get to get more innovative. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, if you had a top 5 list of your favorite nail artists, who would they be and why?
Oh God. Oh, I would say Kirsty Meakin.
Mhm,
I would say Selena Ryden, Tino. I would
mhm,
say Dev
mhm.
Maddox from Ball Pit. God, Vivian Sue. I don't know if you're familiar
Your
with her
shoe?
work.
Yeah. Mhm,
Amazing. And yeah, I would say them. I would say more so just they're positive. They're just very uplifting. They're very talented. They're not gatekeepers. They're people that
mhm,
you can go to. So some of them I haven't spoken to, but majority of them I just feel like
mhm.
they're very open and ready to give you everything they know, their knowledge. They're putting it out there for everybody to see, and it's a really, really beautiful thing to not, keep everything to
Mhm.
yourself. It's kind of like let's make the world great. There's a butt for every seat, so it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for your brand, you have brand ambassadors such as Matt Gosley, who I've had a chance to interview and you've met at Premier Orlando. So, in terms of brand ambassadors, what do you look for in a brand ambassador?
So we have different types of ambassadors. So we have, and I believe what you're talking about is like our exclusive ambassadors. So Matt and Lila and Emily are our only exclusive ambassadors. And the reason for that is because I look for a very specific person to play that role. And it is not only talent. So a lot of people would assume that it's talent, and it is, but it's
Mhm,
more so, like I said, what we encompass in our brand and is positivity. And I'll watch them and see how they are on other lives and what they're commenting, and make sure that
mhm.
they are in fact what we represent, which
Right.
is the things that I listed. So
Mhm.
passion for the brand and for the company and for nails and for the
Right.
trade itself is number one for me. So it is actually very hard to find people that would like that. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
So, in terms of being, a new entrepreneur, in everyday life, how are you able to balance the 2?
I'm still trying to figure that out. um, I haven't done that yet. I haven't been able to balance it
Mhm,
just yet. But I'm working on it. So right now I'm focusing more on content and social media. And I've
mhm,
taken a step away from the hands-on production and packaging and manufacturing. So I have an incredible team in
mhm.
place. Um, and I'm just, I'm kind of learning to not micromanage as much. So I'm working
Right.
on it. But it is difficult. So we're getting there.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Now, what are some of the things that you've learned throughout the journey of you being a nail artist and a nail entrepreneur? But what are some things also that you've learned throughout the journey?
I have learned to just let it be. Just let little things be. Don't take things for granted.
Mm,
It's just there's a lot of different things that happen. There's a lot of things that, especially once you start developing a somewhat of a fan base, there are a lot of negativity. There's a lot of things that just don't, let it get to you is what I've
right.
mostly been learning.
Mhm. Yeah, what are some things that you found the most rewarding?
Rewarding would be when you hear the stories about people that have decided to go to nail school because of you, or decided to start their own company because of you, or start their own brand because of you. Those actually, they bring me to tears, those stories. So
Mhm,
or that, doing nails got them through a tough part of their life, or watching Scoops or watching our lives got them through something, and that is
right.
the most rewarding thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support and contribute to Tickled Pink?
So we are on Instagram, Threads, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, YouTube, all at Tickled Pink, or Tickled Pink Cosmetics,
All
or
right, cool.
tickledpink.com.
TicklePink.com. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Adriana, for jumping on the show. I love what you're doing. I love, tuning into your lives and you're doing the scoops and things like that. I like how you're about positivity and really being inclusive and things of that nature. So, thank you so much for jumping onto the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Be sure to check out my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.